Hey, happy Wednesday, and welcome again to Midweek Musings, that time we take once every week in the middle of the week just to slow down and remind ourselves of one truth from the week's message. So we are here at the train tracks, Jerry, and we're here to talk about the sermon that Jeff delivered on Sunday. It was a great message.
It was a very good message.
It's a tough topic to dive into. Does God give us more than we can handle?
Right. And he used this analogy of the train tracks, going back to his youth when he would take his dad to the train and watch him go, and then he played on the train tracks. And we're here there, and he sort of talked about the foundation of the tracks and how they're evenly spaced. And
as we were diving into whether God gives us more than we can handle.
Right.
And he took us to John 16:33, I believe.
It was.
Where it said in this world you'll face trouble, but take heart, because God has overcome the world. And he's that firm foundation that we come to when we can't handle what comes our way.
And he talked about train going through a tunnel. And we don't have a tunnel here, but imagine that dark tunnel, and you don't see the light at the end of it.
Right.
Using that as a comparison of going through things that are too hard for us to handle. But what he said, when you're going into that tunnel, as dark as it is, you feel under your feet the foundation of the tracks and the railroad ties, and that just was a great analogy, because sometimes we go through those dark tunnels of life and we can't see light, but the firm foundation is Jesus and His presence in our life and His assurance. And he said two words we have to remember in that, and I would encourage us to think about this week: trust and surrender. You keep moving through that dark tunnel, and the idea of trusting that those tracks are a firm foundation guiding you through, and surrendering to that process. That's what I heard.
Yeah, and you have to learn that, right? The other thing that Jeff talked about is in his childhood, walking the tracks. You have to learn to walk the tracks, so it's uneven. All the spaces between the boards. You got these the rails in the way. I actually tripped on one over here to record this message. So Jeff, we're still learning to walk the tracks, and likewise, we're still learning to follow Jesus, to follow Him, and then more than that, to be transformed by Him.
Right. So that's a great encouragement for us as we go through the difficulties of our life. And God is with us, and that we know that by faith and trusting in Jesus. And the hard things that are too hard for us to handle, He's walking with us through that.
Right. We don't do it alone.
That's our trust and surrender. Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. I'd like to talk about this more, but is that a train?
Oh, there's a train. Let's get out of here.
If you've ever walked on train tracks, there's railroad ties are about a foot wide, and the space in between is about a foot, so it's like tiny little steps you have to take. At almost any age, it's hard to walk on them. You can't do two at a time, you can only do one, and there's like stone in between, but it's not enough to really get footing on. So you kind of have to learn how to walk on the track. Are you in over your head? Is there a difficulty, something beyond you? Sometimes night falls on those train tracks, and sometimes there's dark tunnels with no light at the end of them, and if you're there, you know what I'm talking about. But the tracks are under our feet, the foundation of Jesus Christ. We know how to walk toward Him. This fallen world has given us more than we can take, and we don't understand. But the tracks are under our feet, foundation in the midst of darkness. Jesus has placed Himself inside us. He's the firm foundation.